Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching this out there on the World Wide Web. This is Jeremy Ginnam for SYS-CON TV. I'm here at 13th Cloud Expo. I think you can see it in the background there. Dave Roberts I have to my right, now at BMC Software. I was going to say BMCware. BMC Software, welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Jeremy.
I like it when you pop up at new companies because it allows me to ask new questions. And BMC, well, that's terribly grown up. What have they put you in charge of?
I run marketing for our cloud and DevOps products.
What else? But what a lovely combination to sneak in the DevOps there, David.
Absolutely. It's
Why
important.
Don't you unpack that for people, because they are hearing DevOps at Cloud Expo again and again, and I can see them a little bemused saying, so where does that fit? That kind of took me by surprise at this particular show, but it's been a theme for the last this quarter certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. We see cloud and DevOps as really two sides of the same coin. Oftentimes, I think operations folks have been focused on cloud computing as a way to deliver infrastructure really in an agile fashion. But to make use of that infrastructure, you really need something like DevOps, where you're doing some of the process reengineering that allows applications to flow out of development and land somewhere. So think of cloud as the landing place and DevOps as the way that you choose what to land and when to land it.
So I got to ask the question, obviously it's not true of BMC, but do you think that management in general has simply missed that and has allowed there to become a disconnect between all their great initiatives on the one hand and actually being able to do what you're talking about on the other?
Yeah, I think to a certain extent, we as IT professionals have done a disservice to management in terms of helping them understand that there really are two sides to that, and that they need to blend those, not treat them as separate worlds. We find that many of our customers start an initiative at a different spot. So sometimes that initiative is a cloud computing initiative that comes out of the operations group. Other times it's a development, DevOps initiative that comes out of the development side of the house. But oftentimes those things end up linking up down the road as they realize that to support DevOps, they really need cloud, and to use cloud effectively, they really need DevOps.
Dave, is this all just a subset, really, of that umbrella thought, which I'd like to think we can propagate on SYS-CON TV, that cloud computing is not an event, it's a process, and the industry is just sort of waking up to that and pushing that down or pushing it up? That, dudes, we're not done yet. Actually, it really is just beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we see that cloud, what's the right way to put this? Cloud is a way for companies to harness agility and deliver agility within an IT context. And so all of these things are really moving us toward a more agile company as a whole. And people, I think, are struggling with how to transform pieces of their company, and put them on a more agile footing. And so cloud and DevOps are manifestations of that, coming from different parts of the organization, but again, all linking up. And so I think, long term, we see that cloud isn't just a technology stack. You don't just deploy it and you're done, you check it off your list and you say we've got a cloud, move on. That there's a lot more underlying kind of transformation that needs to go on, some of which is really organizational transformation as well, process reengineering, things like that, where people figure out how to really use a cloud and get the maximum benefit out of it.
But do you believe, with your hand on your heart, can we say to CIOs, probably the answer is yes, CEOs who might have an open mind and might want to go either way, that notwithstanding all of the above, you have to embrace cloud computing? Can we still say that, or is that itself being called into question?
No, I think we can absolutely say that. If you're a CIO or a CEO, you absolutely need to look to cloud technologies. I think cloud is as transformational as the internet was back in the 90s, perhaps more so in terms of keeping companies competitive. And the thing that we like to talk about with our customers is, if you're not using cloud, your competitors are. And so the reality is there's a need to keep up as business moves faster, as companies transform themselves. If you're not transforming yourself, you're losing. And so people really need to think about how to make use of these things. Now, that said, don't just build a cloud, don't just deploy a bunch of technology and let it sit there. You really need to think about how to make it, how to turn that into business benefit. Yeah.
And while we've got you in this sort of overview philosophical mood, would you also agree with the proposition that the cycles are accelerating? I mean, I know throughout the ages everyone has complained about that, but this is one of the few times I've seen metrics that do seem to make a compelling case that the cycles, the iterations of IT are speeding up, which is kind of scary.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's absolutely true. I mean, technology tends to beget more technology, which builds on itself and builds on itself. And so I think, yeah, absolutely, the cycles are speeding up.
So what will we say to our kids? Like, will they be able to keep up? I mean, obviously, we're not going to say anything except, yes, you will. But how do we enjoin them to keep their eye on that? It is accelerating. You don't have a lot of time to get your arms around this, and nor do the companies you might be advising or working in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's an important thing is for people to just realize that the world's going to move fast, and to get used to that as being the norm, that stasis is in fact moving backwards.
Our most philosophical marketeer in the cloud space always has been Dave Roberts. Thank you so much for talking with us. And BMC Software, incredibly lucky to have headhunted you. I hope they're watching this out there on the World Wide Web. Thank you so much again, sir.
Thank you, Chairman.
And thank you for following along on the World Wide Web.